What is up, everyone? I'm back, and we have a stacked show and an awesome week coming up here on DSPGaming. On this podcast alone, we've got to talk about Xbox's big, announcement or non-announcement yesterday. We've got to talk about Phil's day off and all the fun stuff that I did, including Kat and I have tried Skull and Bones, and I have a full opinion to give to you on today's show. Plus, we're going to recap the awesome first ever co-op stream that we did back on Wednesday night and plans for the future. All this and more on today's Level 1 podcast. Alrighty, everyone. I'm excited for today and, of course, for this week, but particularly for this podcast because we've got so much to talk about. I wanted to start the show as soon as we could. Today is Friday the 16th of February 2024. We've got every possible segment, seriously, on this show. We got the Phil's day off. We got the DSP news. Everything is going to be great. I'm very excited. If you're wondering why it might look so bright in here, it's because outside today we have a full heavy sun day, and even though I have my blinds completely up, it's also windy, and I need to have the window open, so the wind is like pushing the blinds in, which is allowing sun to come into the office, and there's nothing I can really do about that. This is what it's going to look like unless the wind calms down or the sun goes away. Alright? So, let's talk, shall we? We have so much to discuss today. As I told you guys, on my day off is usually when everything happens, and this was no exception. The Xbox podcast happened. Phil Spencer came out and talked about all the rumors that have been swirling around Microsoft and Xbox in the last 2 weeks about, they're going to stop being a console developer and they're going to go full third party and all their games are going to be third party like Sega now and stuff like that. And man. I told you so. Like, seriously. I don't know how much more dead on correct. In fact, I was more correct in my assessment of the situation than I actually originally thought I was. Like, I literally was dead on correct with all the bullshit that people out there were exaggerating for personal gain. The sky is falling. Yeah, right. So anyway, we're going to talk about that. Also, yesterday during my day off, my wife and I were looking for something to do. And Kat has been looking for a new game to play until the next big game comes out that she's interested in, which is Dragon's Dogma 2, because she just finished Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Well, she's looking all around, and a game's coming out, and she's like, I might want to try this one. And I said, are you sure? Seriously, are you sure you want to do this? And luckily, she didn't drop a lot of money, but yesterday we tried out Skull and Bones together. I'm not sure if you can even call it like a game, maybe like a preview, but man, I got a lot to say about that. Our 2 hours were some of the two most hilarious hours we have ever spent in any video game. It was a laugh riot. We couldn't stop cracking up because the game is so stupid. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, we had our first ever co-op stream together here on Wednesday night. That was the last you saw of us, right? And here I am back from that. I want to talk a little bit about how that went, some of the technical difficulties and things that we're trying to do to improve that, and just overall our plans for that, because, overall I think you guys really liked it, right? So good stuff. Man, I really wish I could get these blinds to stop doing this, because it's so bright in here right now. Like the sun, I can see it on the floor, and I'm like, I don't think there's anything I can do, though. It would stay like that, it would be perfect. But it ain't going to stay like that. just one of those things and one of those days, I guess. There's not much I can really do to control the situation. All right, where do we start? Seriously, where do we start? Let's start with Wednesday night. Let's talk about the co-op we did, because it went so well, and people were really excited, and my wife was excited, and I was excited because it went so well. Let's talk about this. So, you have to understand how awesome this was and how important and meaningful this was to us. You know, Kat has lived with me since early 2018. We have been married now for almost 5 years. And Kat has never done any gameplay with me besides once during a Halloween marathon when basically it was really, really bad with the level of harassment she received for absolutely no reason. Keep in mind, that was a different format. That was on Twitch, where a lot of the moderation was very untenable. And she basically was so turned off by that experience that, you know, for years until she decided for herself, listen, I want to come back. I've had enough. I'm not going to let the nasty actions of a bunch of losers on the internet determine whether or not I want to have fun on a stream with my husband or not. So she came back to streams a month ago for 2 Q&A sessions, which went pretty well. But after 2 Q&A sessions, we realized Q&A ain't it. You know, you're going to get bored with that. The first one was exciting because it's the first time people had seen her in so many years. But after that, it's like, how many questions are you going to ask, right? We want to do something meaningful together. So we were, you know, figuring out what do we want to do. And like, oh yeah, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth has this mini game mode called Dondoko Island that's very similar to, say, Animal Crossing or Disney Dreamlight Valley. And because you do it in the game, it is very meaningful to a playthrough. It gives you so many rewards, so much money that you can then use to go on in the game and buy equipment and level up your characters and buy jobs and things like that. So because of that, you know, we decided this is what we wanted to do. We both like Animal Crossing. We've both played Disney Dreamlight Valley. And my wife, of course, when she plays a game, she plays one game at a time. My wife does not juggle games. She hyper-focuses on one and plays the heck out of it. She just beat Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So she's already finished Dondoko Island on her playthrough, and she wanted to help out mine. So, on Wednesday night, we were both here, and, you know, I'm going to say this. Definitely, this is going to be a learning experience where every time we do it, it's probably going to get a little bit better. This was the first time we had ever done it. Immediately, we run into problems, okay? So I bought an audio splitter, and the idea was to split the audio coming out of my Xbox controller. One would go to my neck phones, and I would listen, like I always do, to the audio of the game, and the other was going to go to her earbuds. She uses earbuds in the house, and they are noise isolation earbuds, okay? So she goes to use it. It's way too loud. She's like, why is it so loud? And I said, oh, because, you know, there's no audio controller here. There's no way to adjust volume. And likely what's happened is, you know, I do have an audio controller on my neck phones, but you don't have one built into your earbuds. So she's like, it's just way too, like, loud. I can't do it this way, you know? And so then we're like, well, what are we going to do? On the fly, let's figure out a fix. All right, well, what we can do is she can plug her headphones into this guy. This is the receiver that I use. This is for my old Astro A40 headphones, which I don't use anymore. But I still use this receiver to get audio from my Switch and my PS5 out of my TV. So I said, you can plug your headphones into there, and then you can adjust because it has a volume adjuster. Okay, so let's try that. So she plugs it in. She goes, oh, it does work, but something's weird. And she realizes, so we're in this room together. And, I mean, the whole point of co-op is cooperation, correct? And with cooperation, that's how it becomes a cool, unique thing. It's supposed to be two people listening, talking with each other, interacting, and playing a game together. She's like, wait a minute, how am I going to do this when my earbuds are noise isolation? She goes, I have them in, I can't hear you. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. They're so good, she couldn't hear me. So basically, I'm like, so now what are we going to do? I'm like, well, we don't have time to figure out something else on the fly. I still have my Astro A40 headphones somewhere in my closet, buried in one of the storage bins. I'm like, well, we're not going to have time. We don't have an hour here to dig through every bin and find them. So instead, what we'll do, you just use the neck phones. You know, I'll just sit here. We're doing Dondoko Island. I don't need to hear the audio. It's not like this is critical story moments. It's literally not. Dondoko Island is a standalone minigame outside of the story of Like a Dragon. Therefore, you can do it in any way. You can do it muted. It doesn't matter. You're missing nothing. Okay? So she used the neck phones. And I basically didn't use them. Didn't use anything. I could still hear some audio anyway from the neck phones. Her sitting next to me. So it wasn't like a total loss or anything like that. Now, in the future, what are we going to have to do? Well, once we finish Dondoko Island, which is about 10 to 15 hours long, we got to figure out a better audio solution. I was already thinking, well, just get a cheap pair of headphones. You don't have to get anything expensive, right? Just something she can put on that's comfortable, that isn't noise isolation. And then she'll be able to hear me talk, and I'll use the neck phone, she'll use the headphones, and it shouldn't be a big deal. Just that we didn't prepare for that. So right away, something silly hit us. So then we go to start the stream, and we quickly realize the whole audio setup is different when you're doing one person on the mic versus two people with a mic between them. All right? So I was sitting here, and she was sitting here, and immediately people were like, well, we could hear Phil fine, but we can't really hear Kat that well. And I said, you know why? Because she's playing like this, right? She's so used to when she plays games, she's just staring at the TV. For me, when I play games, I'm literally turned towards you guys like this, and I'm playing like this, so now you can hear my voice better. She's not used to that. So she's talking in this direction, and the mic's only like side picking up her voice, so you can't hear it as well. In addition, the microphone here is a good placement for when I'm centered to the camera, but when we're both here, I need to turn it more towards her, because again, my voice, I'm used to talking and projecting my voice all day long. I do this literally all day for a living. She does not. So we need to have the microphone more in her vicinity in order to pick up the voice. But even then, I'll definitely say this, because there's two of us talking in a room on a lower volume, because we're both talking into a mic from different directions, the game volume overpowers us. So even lowering the game volume twice, still there were times when I was listening back to the video and I was like, it's hard to hear us. So when we do this again on Saturday night, I got to lower the game volume significantly. And again, for Dondoko Island, this isn't that big of a deal, but we may have to try to figure something else out in the future. In regards to this situation, what it would be, I'm honestly not sure. I mean, my receiver unit here actually has a port for 2 different microphones. So maybe if we actually bought a whole second mic stand and everything, and had one here and one here, obviously then the audio is going to be way, way better. But that's a significant, sinking of money. This mic was not cheap. This is an actual professional studio level microphone that I got 10 years ago. I don't know what they cost today. The thing is, it does use a standard like studio mic connection. It's not USB. I forget what you call it. That unique connection they use for microphones for like bands and stuff. That's what it uses. And that's what my receiver unit here, the Scarlett, uses that. So I'm sure we could probably get another mic. I would have to look into it. All right. I don't think for Dondoko Island, I don't think it's worth it. But in the future, if people really like our co-op and they want to see us actually do real game playthroughs, not just a side mini game, but like go through a real game together, then it's probably going to be worth the investment, right? I think so. But we have to look into that, okay? XLR, is that what it's called? I don't know. People are saying XLR. I don't know what that means. Maybe that means the type of connection or the mic. I don't know. I'm not an audiophile. Literally, this setup I bought 10 years ago because my viewers sent me the stats. They were like, here it is. Buy this on Amazon. Buy this on Amazon. Buy this on Amazon. Combine it. Hook it up. It'll work. And I did, and it worked. I was like, oh, thanks. I don't even know what it is. Okay? So anyway, that was another thing. Now, one other thing that sadly I don't think is fixable. Basically, no matter what, our seating arrangement is not going to be equal because this chair, my office chair, it's not really an office chair. This is meant to be like a luxury office/gaming chair. It actually has full memory foam lumbar support. It actually has real comfy memory foam reclined seating, and it's so comfortable. It's the best chair I've ever had. And I've now had this, for almost 3 years. I want to say we got it in like 2021 or 2022. I can't remember. So far, it's the best gaming chair I've ever had. It's so good. So different from the shitty ones that people try to sell you online with their referral codes. Those are junk. This one's actually well made. The catch is, this chair is very low to the ground and doesn't have height adjustment. That's the catch. That's probably why it only costs like $300 instead of like $500, because it didn't have that. It's a basic chair with really nice comfort features. So the thing is, we can't find anything that's the same height as this chair. We looked at all these ottomans, stools, and other chairs. We couldn't find anything this low to the ground. So the best we did was the chair that I used. We bought this. It's a very small mini office chair that we found at like a discount store. And it's comfortable. Like, I sat on it the whole 2.5 hours on Wednesday night, and it actually was comfy. It didn't hurt my ass or anything. And it has back support, which is really nice. But even then, I was much higher up than this chair. And it doesn't seem like there's anything I can really do about that. And some people are like, well, why don't you buy another one of the chairs? Here we go again, right? The solution is just to spend tons of money that I don't have. So number one, this chair, I don't even know if I can get it again. You know, I bought it 2-3 years ago. I don't even know if it's available on Amazon anymore. I haven't looked into it. That's number one. Number two, this chair is big, and there's no way we could fit 2 of them next to each other here in the office on camera. It wouldn't fit. It's actually that wide. I mean, just to show you, this is how wide the chair is. This is my hands on the edges of the arms, and I'm just lifting my arms straight up. Now, move that to the side. Where does it fit? It doesn't. It doesn't fit on. It would be the 2 of us hanging off camera, basically. It doesn't fit. It's too big. So, the other thing is, well, why don't you just get another small chair and both of you sit in small chairs? We could do that, but that would entail moving this fucking giant chair every time we do co-op and then moving it back, which is going to be a huge hassle. So, see what I mean? Like, there's no real easy way to fix the situation. I think the seating, does it look silly? It does. Like, I'm high up here, she's down here. If we swap seats, it's going to be the same. She's going to be up here, and I'm going to be down here. So we're never going to be equal level when we do this. I would actually say of all the issues, that was the least, right? I would think getting the audio issues resolved is actually a bigger thing than the height of us sitting on camera. I don't think the height is really that big of a deal. The only other thing that we noticed, so this here, this is called a pop guard, for those who don't know. Well, the purpose of this device is that when I'm talking into the mic, or anyone talks into a mic, it stops certain kinds of sounds, and yes, it actually even stops, like, spittle from hitting the mic. So if I'm talking like this and my spit is flying, it catches it. And also, you notice how you don't hear a giant on the mic? The pop guard is doing that. Without that, if you go at the mic, you go boom, boom, you hear these big booming voice or sounds. So that's what it stops. But it's huge, and I've had this one for ages. And the thing is, when it's just me, it's not a big deal. But when it's the both of us, and we're both kind of looking over, and we're trying to see, hey, what's going on over there in the chat, and what are people saying? Even today, right now, I cannot see the chat. Literally from where I'm sitting right now, I can't see the chat. I have to do this and look over the pop guard, or go like this. This is how I see it. So someone actually sent us a suggestion during the day off saying, we noticed your pop guard's really big and in the way. They sell better ones now for cheap. They're not expensive. And I got a link on Amazon to like a $10 pop guard. What it is, instead of being a giant circle, they now make them curved. And they sit right in front of the microphone, literally not blocking your field of view at all. It's just where the mic is. So well, that'll be a big improvement if it just sits in front of the mic. So I ordered it. And that's supposed to be coming later today. And if it shows up, I can use it as early as my late stream tonight. Set it up and see if that's a little better. So that way I can see you guys better. And you won't see this giant circle on camera anymore. Instead, it's just going to be right in front of the mic. You'll see more of me, which I know you want. You guys have told me so many times over the years, you absolutely need to see as much of me as possible. Even if I could minimize the game to like a tiny little corner down here and just have my face blown up on the rest of the screen, that's what you're looking for. So I'm listening to your feedback, and I'm going to give you what you want. Okay. So there you go. So that's what we're going with right now. All right. And so good stuff. And I hope that you guys liked the co-op on Wednesday night. Okay. So here's the deal. It went well. We did about 2.5 hours of Dondoko Island. In the 2.5 hours we played, we got the island to 2-star rating. Okay, it finishes when you're at 5-star rating. And we got 2 big rewards, $10,000 and then $30,000 of in-game currency. 40 grand in one session. When I go back to play the main game, I'm going to be able to buy equipment, weapons, do the rest of the training courses at the school, which then is going to allow me to unlock further into the jobs that I wanted to unlock. Like, I'm going to have tons of stuff as a result of us doing this together. So this is huge and very, very good. This is going to help the playthrough tremendously. When I go back to the main game, we're going to be like swimming in progress because of this, okay? Now, the other cool thing is we are now going to play it again at least probably twice a week because you guys liked it. We're going to do it probably twice a week. If it ends up getting too much, we can reduce the amount we do it maybe down to 1 time a week. But right now, we figure 2 nights a week doing this is good. And by the way, the feedback was great. Basically, people were like, yes, at first it was a slow start, but once you guys got comfortable, it seemed like it was going more naturally. You were interacting better. The game, my wife, just so you know, Kat loved it. When we were out of here, she was smiling ear to ear. She was like, I'm so happy because that was so different from the experience 5 years ago on Halloween. You know, we kept the chat completely controlled. The trolling that they attempted was a complete waste of time. It didn't affect anything. We shut down all the bullshit right away, and we were able to just focus and have fun together and be natural together and enjoy gaming together. That's the kind of stuff we do all the time off camera on our days off, which I'm going to tell you about, because that was actually a part of our day off yesterday was Skull and Bones, which I'm going to explain. So that's what I mean. To be able to share that with you guys was actually something really special, and there was a good audience for it. People liked it. The feedback is overwhelmingly positive. Most people were like, yeah, this is really good. Please keep doing it. Of course, people giving us suggestions for improvement, and we appreciate all of those. We want to improve the audio setup. We want to improve things gradually once we figure these out. The way I see it is, again, with the Dondoko, it's a mini game, so we're going to do it for a few weeks, probably 2 weeks tops, 3 weeks maybe to finish it. And then when we get to the next thing, that'll be more of a serious playthrough, right? Then we'll consider maybe investment in some things to make it better. Again, whether that's an additional microphone, whether that's buying a separate set of headphones for her, whatever it may be, we're going to figure this out. Already the pop guard's going to be in play, okay? So, great stuff, and I can't wait for more. Kat absolutely loved it, and she's stoked for the next stream, which is really awesome. Okay, so let's continue. So that was Wednesday night. Now let's talk about yesterday, because yesterday was my day off, ladies and gentlemen, and so it is time, indeed, for our weekly Phil's Day Off segment. And got a bunch of interesting stuff to talk about in the Phil's Day Off segment this week, one of which is the Microsoft discussions. However, I will save that because I'd like to talk about that in a DSP news segment instead, okay? So for the Phil's Day Off segment, essentially yesterday was our final chill day before basically we are going to be doing a big busy day. Like next week is our big once a month where we have all of our appointments and important things lined up. We've got to drive around all day next week and do a million things. So because of that, this is our last opportunity to have a more relaxing day. And much like a couple weeks ago, yeah, there was not much I really had to do. So because of that, I was able to stay home most of the day. I only had to do like grocery shopping and a real quick errands, and that was it. So ultimately what happened was, after getting all my errands done pretty quickly, all right, we looked into what we wanted to do for the day, and something happened. I never expected this. My wife says to me, so I want a game to play between now and the release of Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2, for those who don't know, comes out around middle of March. She's like, that's the next game I'm eyeballing. I'm really excited for it. I want to play it, but I don't want to jump. I don't want to, I just would need something else to kill time. Even if it's not that serious of a game or whatever, I just need something to play. And of course, I've been suggesting all kinds of Game Pass games to her. Like, what about Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice? That way you'll know what this is for when the sequel comes out, if you want to play the sequel or not. What about Persona 3 Reload that just came out? Because she liked Persona 4. She started Persona 5 but didn't get too far in it. And I'm like, you might like that. It's a total remake from the ground up of Persona 3. Persona 3 is a great game. I'm sure they probably fixed the issues I had with it. So I'm giving her all these suggestions. And basically I go out, I do all the errands. And I come home, and she goes, I've decided what I want to do. I want to try Skull and Bones. And I was like, what? Like, I was blown away. Like, she would want to try that. Because she knows all about the game. She knows it's been stuck in development hell for nearly a decade. She knows about the stories of all the problems with this game and everything. And I was like, huh? And she's like, yeah, basically because, it has the ship combat of Assassin's Creed 4, and also other Assassin's Creed games in the future had that, and she loved the ship combat. And she says, maybe it'll have something fun about it. And I was like, well, that's up to you. But of course, she's doing it the smart way. Did she spend $70 on it? No. You'd have to be nuts to do that. She basically got Ubisoft Plus, which is the monthly subscription. It's $18 a month, and you get access to all of Ubisoft's games for the month, And by the way, if you do that, you get all the advanced access, and you get all the deluxe versions, okay? So she decided to basically do that and then get it off of Ubisoft Plus. So she was able to get Skull and Bones on her Xbox Series S deluxe edition, like premium edition, which comes with extra missions and a few extra in-game things for doing it. And this was the advanced edition. I guess the game technically comes out today, But if you had gotten the special edition, it came out like a day early. So she was able to play it yesterday. Okay? So, let's talk about Skull and Bones. We played it for 2 hours. And here was our experience, okay? When you first boot up Skull and Bones, you're essentially on a ship that immediately gets destroyed. And so you're with, like, this skeleton crew. It's like you and 2 other people on, like, a skiff. A tiny little boat that's just going around. And your job is essentially to survive. So you're, like, you know, sailing around fighting sharks with, like, spears. And you basically have to gather a few resources, do, like, mini missions, and then get to the first town, which is called St. Anne, all right? So at first, it's kind of interesting because you're learning the controls. It's a little different than, you know, when you're on the skiff, it's different than when you played Assassin's Creed. And the graphics, I'll be honest, they're not terrible, but they're also not good. Like, the water effects are hilarious. It looks like fuzz. It looks like fuzz is coming on your bows. Like, is that supposed to be water, or are you, like, in the field of pollen in the middle of spring? Like, what is this? The effects are bizarre. I think they use their own graphics engine called Anvil, and honestly, it doesn't look that good. I was like, why did they go with that? They could have easily gone with something else. It was just weird to me. I was scratching my head, like, why did they go with that? So once you arrive at St. Anne, all the story begins. I said the story begins because basically this is where the game guides you, but what you quickly start to understand about Skull and Bones is that there is no story. Skull and Bones is the story of you being a pirate, and that's it. And what I mean by that is, what does a pirate do? Well, you probably need a ship. You probably need to arm that ship with, like, weapons. You probably need to eventually recruit more crew members. You need to go out and sail, and you're probably going to be fighting other ships and pillaging and plundering certain areas and things like that. Yes, that's the game. No, but that's the whole game. Like, there's no actual narrative to it. It's just, you just play it for the sake of playing it. There's no story involved. And that's what I mean when you think about, oh, well, Assassin's Creed 4, Edward Kenway. He was one of the best protagonists in Assassin's Creed history. He was super unique. His story was great. There was great supporting characters. There's none of that in Skull and Bones. There's no narrative. You're just going to a town and talking to NPCs. They're giving you missions, which are essentially go out there and sack ships, gather resources, craft things, improve your ship and crew, and then go out there and do it again. That's the game. That's the entirety of the game, okay? Now, if you're okay with that, then good for you. If you like that, if that gameplay loop sounds exciting to you, then maybe this is the game for you. But if you were looking for any kind of a meaningful story, there's zero. They didn't even write one. They didn't even bother with that, okay? If you've ever heard of, like, the term games as a service, I think this is, like, the poster child textbook example of what that will become if games as a service just becomes the standard in the industry. There's no point to playing Skull and Bones besides wasting your time, but if you enjoy your time that you're wasting, then I guess it's okay. One of the notable things about Skull and Bones is immediately when you start playing, even before you get to the first town of St. Anne, it's co-op. You can immediately team up with people online. And, yeah, like, basically, it immediately throws you into this online world. The funny part about it is you don't even understand what it means. It's like, oh, so-and-so's, you know, wants to join the party. Do you just say yes? Do you say no? I don't know. What does it entail? So you're like, okay, let's join the party. So you say join party. And then what happens is everyone's still playing the game separate. Like, you still have to play it separately. It reminds me of, like, World of Warcraft, where you're in a party, but everyone's doing different things. But if you're in the same mission, what you all have to do is go talk to the same NPC to advance the story. There's no story, but advance the mission to go to the next part. So, for example, we're in the tutorial area, sailing around. We join a group just to see what it does. It doesn't seem to do anything. And then we talk to the NPC, which advances the mission. Okay, let's go to the next mission. Oh, you can't because the other person in your group didn't talk to the NPC yet. Huh? So now I gotta fucking go pull this fucking no-load and get them to play the game? What are they doing? Scratching their ass? Sailing around fucking... Who knows what they're doing, right? So I gotta wait for them? So unless you're gonna team up with people you know and you're gonna voice communicate and coordinate, don't go into multiplayer with randoms. It immediately is a hassle in this game. There's no fucking point to doing it. Okay? So, anyway, some hilarious moments of us playing Skull and Bones. Hilarious moment number 1. Kat is sailing around in the skiff, alright, and she needs to gather resources to build her first ship. As she does it, first of all, we quickly realize there's no actual, like, action in the game. It's all quick time events. So you go to harvest wood, all of a sudden a giant saw appears on the screen with a meter, yellow, green, and red, and you have to press the button when it's in the green to harvest maximum wood. And I'm thinking to myself, This looks familiar somehow. I got to put my finger on it. Okay? So then, oh, we got to harvest coconuts. Well, you have a sickle, and it shows a sickle attacking a tree, and you have to press the button when it's in the green, or else you don't harvest as many coconuts, or you fail and you don't get the coconuts. Okay? So you never get off the boat. You never actually do these things. They're all quick time events. Okay? So we're doing all this harvesting, gathering, and then all of a sudden the game freezes. We're like, oh no, the game froze. Did it save anything? It freezes, I'm not kidding you, for about 15 to 20 seconds. Then all of a sudden the game unfreezes and plays at 10 times speed. So we went from frozen to our boat has a rocket in its ass, and it goes boom, and starts flying across the ocean, and it careens into the shore, and it goes boom. We're like, what the fuck just happened? What is this shit? Yeah, it's a fucking piece of shit game, like turbo boat got into the ground, like explosions. Like, what the fuck? So I was like, okay, so that was hilarious. Also, there's an unlimited supply of sharks. Everywhere you go in the game, there's a shark attacking you constantly. So all you're throwing unlimited spears at sharks, trying to kill off Jaws. Like, Jaws is hunting you endlessly in this game. Just get the fuck away from me. It's so stupid. How many fucking sharks could there possibly be in the ocean that want to eat you? It doesn't make any sense. But you know what it is? You need gameplay, and this is the gameplay of the game, so they had to put that in there. Okay? So eventually, you're going to gather enough resources to build your first ship. Alright? So you go to St. Anne, you build your first ship. And I wish this was an exaggeration. I wish I was making the story up. I promise you this is God's honest truth. Kat is going to sail out for the very first time. Her first mission, go destroy 2 ships. You know, be a pirate. Go destroy two like, cargo ships. And then come back with the spoils of your sacking of the ships. She's going to sail out of the first harbor of the game, St. Anne. It's the starter harbor. And there's 2 ships, giant ships, sitting in the harbor. She's like, what's that? She sails out. They immediately aggro to her and instantly destroy her boat. What was that? This is the starter harbor. Why would there be giant enemy ships sitting in the harbor? So in this game, when your ship gets destroyed, you have to go back to where your ship was and gather the resources because they drop. If you don't, you lose all your resources. So she respawns, and she sails. They're still there. The fuck is going on? Why are there 2 ships there? They're not. By the way, this is not human-controlled ships. These are just NPCs, like actual computer-controlled enemy ships sitting there. So she pulls up her spyglass and looks. They're level 10 ships. Level 10. She's level 2. She just started the game. Why are there level 10 ships in the starter area? So she tries to sneak by. She grabs the cargo. She sneaks, and now they're chasing her. I'm not kidding you. I timed it. They chased her for 5 minutes. They wouldn't leave her alone. They chased her across half the fucking map of the game until finally they broke off their pursuit. It didn't make any sense. Like, this is the beginning of the game, and this is what they throw at you? So finally, you know, she's out of there, and she's like, well, I could go destroy the ships, but let me explore. So she did. She sailed around for a little bit. She explored. She liked that they were singing sea shanties and stuff, just like they did in Assassin's Creed when she was sailing around. She enjoyed that. Did a little bit of combat here or there. Some loot. Again, the looting is a joke. You go to another town, you can't access the town. All you do, you press a button, you're in a menu. Oh, you want to buy stuff? You're still on your ship. You literally never leave your ship. You just sit on your ship, and it's like there's an inventory menu that opens up. You can buy items from a vendor. That's it. There's no town exploration whatsoever in the game. Okay? She goes and fights a ship, and it says, do you want to board the ship and try to take it over rather than destroy it? Sure. She presses the button. There's a meter that blinks. Okay, your guys are on the ship fighting it. Wait, what? Yeah, your guys are on the ship fighting it right now. Well, can I go do that? No, that's not in the game. It's just automatic. It just does it, like, off camera. And then you'll find out after the fact what happened. You don't actually board the ship and fight it or anything. That doesn't exist. Huh? So literally the entire game, you're just sitting on your ship or you're walking through one town of St. Anne, and that's it. At least in the early portion of the game, that's all you can do. Quick time events and button pushes on the ship. That's the whole fucking game. So finally, she's coming back to St. Anne, all right? And again, the fucking warships are still guarding the port of St. Anne. So she tries to sneak by again. They destroy her ship instantly again. So she respawns at St. Anne, drives back out, gets her resources, goes back to St. Anne. She goes to talk to an NPC. The NPC, you know, is supposed to do, okay, you destroyed the first 2 ships. Congratulations. Here's your reward. It gives her reward, and the game just stops. Everyone's just awkwardly like standing here like this. Huh? The NPC finished their dialogue, but didn't finish the scene. So everyone's just like standing around like this. Huh? What do we do? You press every button, nothing happens. You press start, nothing. Nothing works. You're just frozen. Everyone's just forgot their line. It's like you're in the movie, someone forgot their lines, so everyone just stands around awkwardly. So she closes the game. She reboots the game. It didn't save any of that. So now she would have had to go back from when she destroyed the ships, get past the armada again, get back to the first town, and do the whole thing. And she's like, fuck this. And she closed it. And she's like, I'm not playing this ever again. I was like, wow. That's quadruple A game development, according to Yves Guillemot. That's their first ever quadruple A game, baby. Wow, that's a lot to offer. Now, basically, here's the deal. All right? It's not that it's awful. It's just not a good game. You can tell this is a game that's not finished. You can tell this is a game that was likely rushed and released because they had to. If you don't know the story of Skull and Bones, this game started development around the same time as Sea of Thieves. And you remember how many years ago Sea of Thieves released? They were announced the same E3. And everyone was like, what's the coincidence that Ubisoft and Microsoft are both making a pirate, like, online co-op survival game at the same time? It's weird, right? But Sea of Thieves released, flopped, kept selling because it was on their on-demand service. I forget, it wasn't called Game Pass back then. It was something else. And then it got a player base, and it got a community, and then a bunch of fucking trolling and a bunch of toxic shit got associated with that community. But today, it's a healthy game. It thrives. It has tie-ins with, like, Monkey Island and other things. Like, it's done well for itself over these years. This game still didn't come out. It's been 10 years. And Skull and Bones still didn't come out. This game has been started over twice, I believe. It was developed by 10 or more different Ubisoft studios, all working different parts of it at remote locations. Okay? And the real reason this game came out, for those who don't know, Ubisoft Singapore, yes, they have a Singaporean development branch, made a deal with the Singaporean government. They took a government grant to make this game. So they took government money and said, thank you for the money. We're going to use this to develop our game and make it better because it's going to be a product of Singapore. But then the game kept getting delayed and canceled, and Singapore got on their ass and was like, we gave you money. You can't just not release the game that we gave you money to develop. You have to release it, or else we're going to basically go to court with you and give you all these fines and penalties for violation of our agreement. Like, you can't just screw the government, you know? So basically, they had to release it. And I really feel like they totally released this game in this condition because they were legally bound to. They didn't have a way out of it, or else they were going to get really into big trouble. So you play the game and you're like, it totally feels like it's not finished. Like, they rushed it. And by the way, remember I was saying, the quick time events to harvest, resources? And I was saying it seems similar to something. Yeah, you want to know what it seems similar like? A mobile game. This whole game, Skull and Bones, feels like you're playing a mobile game the entire time. And I was thinking to myself, this is a mobile game. Everything about it could be played on a phone. There's literally nothing with complex controls. It all could be done touchscreen phone. And I was like, I bet that's what it is. How much do you want to bet this was a mobile game or was being developed as a mobile game? And then at some point they said, let's just make this the real game. And then that's it. This is the game. Oh my God. But by far of all the time, I wish we had a camera rolling when the game froze for 15 seconds, unfroze, and our boat turboed into the shore like it was rocket powered and just exploded. I wish I had that on camera for you guys. That was the most fucking hilarious moment I've seen in ages in any game. We were both laughing hilariously at how bad the fucking game is. So, now here's the thing. I've heard a few people saying, oh, it's not that bad. Here's the deal. It's time to stop giving games a pass because you're playing it with friends and you like it with your friends. All right? It really is. It's time to stop with this nonsense. Because here's the deal. I'm going to name a few games for you guys, okay? Destiny 1 and 2. Okay? The Tom Clancy co-op games, which I've forgotten what the name of it. Not Ghost Recon. What are the ones where there's two of them and you team up with a team of people and you're co-op online, looter shooter shit? I can't remember what it's called anymore, but there were two of them. You guys are gonna remember those, right? This whole industry, there's like, maybe I can name The Division. Thank you. The Division 1 and 2 and all of its expansions, correct? And I'm sure you guys, now that I brought up Destiny and The Division, you guys can think of 10 more that are the same exact genre of game. Not saying they're the same gameplay, but it's you team up with your friends, you go online, you endlessly grind to do co-op, and it's a fun experience, okay? Fair enough. There's a place for those games, and there's definitely a genre. It's a genre to itself, and it's popular. It makes money. But at one point, when are we going to actually sit down and look at these games together and say, but are these games actually good? Or are they only entertaining because you're having a social experience with your friends as you experience them? I challenge you to tell me the story of The Division 1 or 2 is good. Like, wow, I'm so happy I played The Division because that was one of the best stories I've ever seen in gaming, right? Or even that the gameplay loop is that good. Or did you enjoy The Division 1 and 2 because you played it with a bunch of friends? And you teamed up and you had camaraderie and it was fun. You were joking with each other when you played it, right? And again, that's okay, but there's a problem with that. You got these inferior games. They don't play well. And a lot of these games launch awful and then over a year or two get improved because now the game's out there, people bought it. So now you've got post-release support that makes these games better, or maybe even eventually what they were intended to be at launch, but they rushed the game out, right? But we have to stop, as consumers, accepting that games come out unfinished. Skull and Bones is not even a half-finished game. All you have to do is play it for 20 minutes and you're going to realize that. You're like, what is this shit? Like, there's no story. There's no actual gameplay in any town besides the starter town. You can't fight hand-to-hand. You can't board enemy ships besides a meter. You can't harvest things besides a quick time event. Like, where's the gameplay? The gameplay loop is like playing a mobile game on your phone. So why did you buy a console game? It doesn't make sense. And the problem is, if we accept games like this and we say, oh, it's fun to play with friends, fine, but is it a good game? I don't care if you had fun fucking around with your friends. Because the truth is, right now, you go to the movie theater and you can see the worst movie you've ever seen, but you're joking with your friends and it's a great time. Does that mean the movie's good and people should go watch it? No. It means you made fun of it so bad that it was a good time. That doesn't mean the movie was good. So it's the same thing with games. Just because you made fun of the game and you fucked around and had a social experience with your friends doesn't mean the game was good. It just means you found a way to make the best of the situation, right? So you have to stop this shit. Because if we keep rewarding games like this, oh, well, it was fun because I played it with my friends. I don't care. I don't care what you did with your friends. Was the game good? Compare it to other games that are out for the same price point of $70. They are charging $70 for Skull and Bones. This isn't even a $20 game at this point. I wouldn't pay $20. Kat paid $18 for Ubisoft Plus, played it for 2 hours. She says, I got ripped off. I got completely ripped off. This is not a game. I agree. After doing it for 2 hours, that was a joke. That wasn't even close to a full game experience. No one should pay for that at all. Yet now we're supposed to forgive this? Oh, $70. Oh, it's fine because I played it with my friends and we had a good time. Fuck you and your friends. I don't care about what you did. You could also go play basketball with your friends and have a good time. That has nothing to do with the quality of the game. The game's terrible. So why are you saying that it's a passable experience when it's not? Right? I hate people who want to rationalize and justify shit like that. Sorry, my experience with Destiny, it never was good. It's not terrible, but it's nowhere near as good as a Halo experience. It's nowhere near as good as any real MMO. It's just a shooter that got tons of budget to advertise. So they always said it was the best one, and it wasn't. It's boring as dirt. It's a fucking boring-ass gameplay loop, and it never deserved an iota of the attention or popularity it got. People just fell in line that, oh, this is the good co-op game. I must play it. I must play it. It's just not that good. The Division is a joke. I played it, if you remember, I played it as when it was free for like a week after E3 or something like that. I was like, I don't get it. Like, I mean, okay, you play with friends, but it's just, there's nothing special to this. There's nothing unique. Well, Fallout 76. Do you remember that debacle? How bad it released? And then I actually played it during E3 week the year after, when it was free. And the game, I have a teammate who can't get off his knees. He's sliding around on the game endlessly on his knees like this. Wee! wee, like he's on treads, like he's on a tank, woohoo! And he's like, dude, this game's been out for like 4 or 5 months. Why is the game still so glitched? You screwed around on your knees. Like, what the fuck is this junk? Oh, but it's a good game because you play it with your friends. No, it's not. It's junk. Stop buying and rewarding junk. If you keep buying and rewarding people with awful games like this, the whole industry will be this games as a service trash. Everything will be a click, a fucking mini game, tap the buttons, bullshit. All the games you buy will be trash. You have to stop. I don't care that co-op is fun. Demand better. Demand that the co-op game is better. Not that, oh, we had fun because we fucked around in it. Yeah, you could also fuck around in real life or in any other game and have a better experience. I don't want to hear it. Stop spending money on this trash. Stop rewarding idiots. Yves Guillemot, right now, actually thinks he has a quad A game. Fuck him. And fuck his company and make him suffer. Don't buy this piece of shit. And then actually he won't be rewarded for idiocy. But the problem is you keep rewarding the idiocy by buying these terrible games. Do not buy Skull and Bones under any circumstances. Do not buy it. Do not play it. Do not watch someone play it. Do not get Ubisoft Plus. Do not even click on a picture of it. Do not even look at the art online. Don't watch a video of it. Don't do nothing. Stop wasting time on this shit. Because if it actually doesn't exist, it won't recoup its cost, and then they'll fucking stop with this bullshit, and they'll make good games again. But we have to stop entertaining garbage. Okay. So. That was our day off, all right? Oh, by the way, what did we do after that? She downloaded Persona 3 Reload and started playing the first, like, hour and a half of it. And, of course, she's hooked on the story already. She's like, oh, the story is interesting. I'm like, yeah, I know. The Persona games are always like that. They have a story that hooks you. Now, what I'm curious, is she going to like the gameplay? I don't know if she's going to like the gameplay. Because the game is older. And I don't know if they've updated the combat to be more modern, like a modern JRPG. Or if it is more outdated like the game was when I played it. So, I don't know if she's going to end up liking it too much. But there you go. I guess we'll see. But yeah, she's playing Persona 3 now, and I wonder if she's gonna stick with it for the next month until like Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out. So there you go. And by the way, that's cool because I already played Persona 3, so I can't spoil myself on it, so I can watch her play with no issues, which is really cool. So, all right. So that was the Phil's Day off. Oh yeah, and we had Indian food for dinner. I actually got lamb biryani rice. And she got a chicken tikka masala curry, and it was very delicious. We haven't had biryani rice in ages. The last time I had it was here on Feasting with Phil when we ordered it for like an event. It's super duper good. It's spicy, but it's got tons of flavor, all these veggies and stuff in it. It's absolutely gourmet delicious. So there you go. Ellipsian says the combat is now pretty much Persona 5. They changed it. Good. I'm happy. I hope you're right. I'm happy to hear that because I want Kat to enjoy the game, and I know that if it is as outdated as it was when I played it, especially some of those dungeons, she's gonna be like ripping her hair out of her head. So hopefully they've improved it, and hopefully there's more saving. I really hope so. Anyway, so that was our day off. All right. However, during our day off, something else happened. Xbox came out and did their big podcast to address all the rumors. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for DSP news. We roll right into the next segment of the show. Phil Spencer comes out on this Xbox podcast yesterday and 1,000,000% confirms everything that I fucking said to a T. In fact, he went even further. Because if you remember what I said was, at worst, I bet what's going to happen is that Microsoft's going to say they're going to take some of their exclusive games that have been exclusive for a while and they're going to start porting them to, say, PlayStation, maybe in 6 months, right? Like, take a game like Hi-Fi Rush. It'll come out for Xbox first, you'll have the exclusivity window, and then they're going to port it to PlayStation, right? No, it wasn't even that bad. All Phil Spencer said was 2 things. Number 1, we are not giving up on hardware. Whoever made up that rumor is an idiot. In fact, our next gen of consoles, we're going to try to actually push the limits of technology. The next Xbox will be the most powerful, like, console available. That's what we're aiming for. That's number 1. And number 2, yes, we're going to take 4 games that are Xbox exclusives now, and we are going to release them as third-party games. If they do well, we may look to make more games third-party in the future, but this is like a test case. He didn't even say what the games were, but he did confirm it will not be Starfield, and it will not be the upcoming new Indiana Jones game. Okay? So, the speculation, and again, this is all speculation, is that the actual 4 games... Oh, did I not write it down? Oh, shit. I didn't write it down. One of them is definitely Hi-Fi Rush. And oh, here it is. Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded are the supposed speculated 4 games that they're going to make cross-platform and be on PlayStation. Okay? Do any of those games sound like they're going to have any huge impact in the gaming landscape because they're on PlayStation? No. Not at all. It'll be cool if they're cross-platform, even if they have cross-platform play, because those games, like, for example, Sea of Thieves and Grounded are co-op games. So imagine being able to play with people on a wider player base. That's actually kind of a good thing, a beneficial thing for those games' life cycles, right? So what's the deal if these are going to be cross-platform? None at all. Zero. And again, Phil Spencer confirms we are not giving up on the console game, on the console, thing. We want to make a new console that's the most powerful ever. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember all those rumors? Remember all that speculation? Remember all those places that were actually saying the sky is falling, Microsoft is done, they're going full third party like Sega, and the Xbox logo was on fire, and there were big nuclear mushroom cloud explosions, and people were doing entire weeks of podcasts and shows speculating about the end of Microsoft as a game developer. Remember all that? Yeah, all those people lied to you and were doing it just for money. Every single person who did that was a scumbag. Every fucking one on the internet. They all lied to you. They made up stuff. They rumor mongered to have clickbait content so you would give them time and money. So I want you to think about those people now, because I know a lot of you probably watch their content. I want you to think about, is that the kind of person who you should continue to go back and watch their content? Do you think that? Do you think you should do that? Waste your time on someone who lies to you constantly so you will go there and watch their content and give them money? Because none of them had anything to say of any intelligence. They literally just blew smoke up your ass for a week with zero evidence or facts. What did I say? I said, it's all rumors. No one has any factual basis to say any of this. There's zero evidence that Microsoft is getting out of the console game. No one said that. No facts. Why are people reporting it like fact? What is wrong with people? This is it. This is modern online content creation. Lie to get the attention of the viewer. The viewer trusts the person, and now everyone's freaking out. Oh my God, drama, drama, drama. Clickbait, clickbait, money, money, money. And then a week later, Phil Spencer has to actually come out and say, it's all bullshit. I don't know where they got that from, but, don't listen to nonsense. Gee, thanks, Phil. Like, literally, the podcast didn't need to happen. There was no reason. There was no new information given. It's just a waste of everyone's time, just like the entire week of rumor mongering. You have to stop with it. People have to stop wanting the worst and reveling in failure. Fucking stop it. You want to know what people should be reveling in? Success. For example, I have another news story this morning. Tekken 8 has sold 2 million copies in the only 2.5 weeks since it launched. Bandai Namco, says sales are better than they even expected. Tekken 8 is selling way faster than Tekken 7. Tekken 7 took 2 months to sell its full 2 million units, not 2 weeks. And this is pretty insane. So, fighting games are on the up and up. Street Fighter 6 sold well, Mortal Kombat 1 sold well, Tekken sold well. That's what we should be reveling in. Success, positivity, not fabricated failure. So you'll click on someone's show, podcast, article, and give them money. Stop falling for the drama. We need to shut the drama off on the internet and actually focus on positive, good things. Because that's what's important in life, not this trash. Okay? So, yeah, it really drives me nuts that so many people last week were freaking out here on my show. Oh, Phil, you see, you're going to eat your words, Phil. You just wait till it comes out that this is all true and Xbox is now third party. I was like, you're all wrong. You're out of your minds. Why are you rumor mongering? That's all it is. It's all it's ever been. This shit happens at least 5 times a year. How many times a year do you hear about the new Switches coming out? Or the new Nintendo Direct's right around the corner and they're going to announce something huge or this. It's all bullshit. It always is. It's never right. Never is it right. But everyone still fucking believes it. All right? Anyway. That's that. That's my segments for today. And now we can get to shout outs. This is a crazy packed show. That's why I'm moving so fast. Let's do it, shall we? So it doesn't look like we have anything on the YouTube side of things, correct? I just want to confirm that. No super chats and no memberships as of yet. We start off today with a tip here that came in actually overnight. It's a $5 tip from Rocky. He said, I sent a super chat last night, but apparently it didn't go through, and that's why you didn't see it. I got a free membership a couple weeks back, so here's a $5 because I got a free one from the trolls. I know money could be tight right now, and I want to pay it forward, so have a good day. Well, thank you, Rocky. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, because of what they did with the whole VPN situation with these memberships to give them away for free, essentially. Yeah, things just suck right now. But what can I do besides just move forward positively, right? So thank you, Rocky. I appreciate that. And again, I would urge anyone, if you were given a free membership by a troll who didn't pay for it, if you could come support the channel in another way, that would be amazing. Whether it's a simple super chat, a small tip, something like this will help a lot, okay? So thank you very much, Rocky. I appreciate that. I received another $5 tip. Again from Rocky, and this one was actually from this morning, so I guess Rocky did an overnight tip and another one here. Division is not very fun. Stupidly repetitive. It lived off Tom Clancy's name alone. I believe you. Like I said, I played it during that week that it was free or whatever. And let me put it this way. It was functional. It wasn't, like, didn't hate it. But I was like, I don't get it. Why does everyone talk about this game like it's some big thing? Again, why? Because it's co-op with friends. That's it. That's the only attraction of most of these games. Oh, it's fun to play with your friends. Yeah, but you could be doing something better. You know, just because it's an activity to do with your friends doesn't mean it's a valuable activity that you should pay money for. There's many other things you could be doing. There's better experiences you could be having instead of just saying, oh, just settle for this one in this gameplay loop and play it endlessly and keep giving them money, right? So, thank you, Rocky, for the 2 tips this morning. Let's see here. I'm back from break. I have to reload all my screens here, so give me a second, please. Let's see here. Okay, this was, okay. That's what it was. It was a leftover message from Wednesday night when we had streamed. Okay. So as of right now, excuse me, I've covered all of that. Let's quickly do the schedule. So today, it's a return of Baldur's Gate 3. And today, we're finishing Act 2. We're actually in Moonrise Tower in the midst of a giant fight. So people are saying there's 2 humongous fights in the tower, and then there's actually kind of another thing that happens under the tower, and you keep going. And so there's some exciting stuff coming up today, and we're probably finishing Act 2 today. I'm stoked for that. I hope we get to see how it ends. I have no clue what Act 3 is going to be, right? So we're going to find out, I guess, once we complete Act 2 today and go from there. So that's exciting. Tonight on the late stream, it is Friday Night Fights, Tekken 8, and I'm playing more Yoshimitsu. Last night, I watched 3 different pro players use Yoshimitsu, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't see that much more advanced gameplay than what I was doing, except their execution's insanely good. Like, they're on par and on point with what they're doing. They're timing their counter hits perfectly. They're always executing the combos, never dropping them, getting maximum damage. And their mix-up game is great. I noticed a few things. When you do the Heat Smash move with Yoshimitsu, if you hold up, you go into helicopter stance. I didn't know that. So that's something definitely I'm going to utilize tonight. Just kind of walking forward or dashing forward, tapping 3-4. It's this flip kick. I barely use it. It's really good. They all use it. So I'm going to start implementing that. And if you do his flash move, which is 1 and 4 together. So if you, like, walk forward and you do it, it's the one where he stands there with his sword like a counter hit. If he hits and it's a counter hit, they start to crumble. You could do back 2-2, and it's a free combo, guaranteed. And if he doesn't have heat engage, it engages his heat. So it's like all these things. Cool. I'm learning these new techniques. I'm like, oh, okay, I got to try to implement these in my gameplay tonight. The only one thing I don't know, they all were using the Poison Cloud, which I didn't know Yoshimitsu even still has. I think he got that in Tekken 3. So what it is Yoshimitsu will back up like this and all of a sudden go, bruh, and like a cloud of poison mist comes out of his mouth. But it's very close range. But if the enemy's in your face, they get caught and then they just stagger and crumple. And then you can do a free combo after. The thing is, most pro players don't fall for it. I guarantee you, the players at my level will. So I got to figure out how to do that because I don't know how. I have to do the input because I might implement that in my gameplay and start catching people and getting free combos. Okay? But for the most part, like I said, it looks like I was implementing the best stuff that Yoshimitsu has, just that I need to learn matchups. I need to know how to block, how to maneuver better, how to backstep, how to sidestep. That's the stuff I need to get better at in Tekken to excel, because right now I'm kind of at like a very kind of average level player's skill level, I'm never going to advance to good until I learn those techniques, you see. So anyway, I studied Yoshimitsu tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. I hope you will join me for that. Tomorrow, more Baldur's Gate 3, and the hope is that we will actually advance into Act 3 tomorrow and see Act 3 for the very first time and see what it's about, because I have no clue. I'd be pretty excited if that's the case. Tomorrow night, Saturday night, is the next co-op stream with Kat. So be here, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday night, and that's going to be me and Kat doing more Dondoko Island. Our hope is that we can hit 3-star rating. We hit 2-star rating in 2.5 hours on Wednesday night. Well, we have the whole night to focus on trying to hit 3-star rating. If we do, that's another giant reward that I'm going to receive when I play Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth again and we get back to the main single-player story. So I'm excited for that on Saturday night. I hope you'll be here for our next co-op stream, okay? Then Sunday is React Day. On Sunday, the first stream is DSP versus the Internet, my weekly clips react show on my DSP Reacts channel. And then the late stream is Retro React, where I'm going to be watching old gameplay and playthroughs of mine from the past and reacting to it in the modern era on stream. That's Sunday night, 6:45 p.m. on DSP Throwback. And you guys have been voting on what you want to see. And here's the results, basically. Let me get them for you. The poll is between Red Dead Redemption 1 continuing, because that was the first one we did about a month ago. Dark Souls 1 continuing, that's what we did 2 weeks ago. Bully, my original 2013 run, which started off with a camera and then became direct capture halfway through. And the original Heavy Rain playthrough from 2010. In a resounding victory, Heavy Rain won. Like, it's now like 13% leading. So unless like another 50 plus people out of nowhere vote for another game, there's nothing that's going to overtake it. So it looks like this Sunday night, Retro React, I watch my original Heavy Rain playthrough from 2010. And if you don't know, that is one of my most popular, highest watched playthroughs of all time. There's not a single video in the playthrough that has less than 100,000 views. And the playthrough's over 50 parts. Like I said, that was the playthrough that put me on the map as a YouTube gamer back in the day. People watched it and cracked up hilariously loving that playthrough. So I think this is going to be awesome to watch back and you know, enjoy together. I'm very excited to hang out with you guys this Sunday night and re-experience Heavy Rain. And I was thinking, if there were a game that we were to continue to watch the playthrough, what would it be? I think this might be the one that people would want to see me continue. You know, we've done Red Dead. People were like, once was enough. We did Dark Souls. People were like, it's good. But when Heavy Rain was presented, they're like, oh my God, I think this might be the one that we continue to do moving forward because it's such a great playthrough, right? So, what year was Heavy Rain? 2010. Early 2010? I'm sure that, you know, we'll figure the date out Sunday night. I think it was like, I want to say it was like February 2010, but I could be wrong. 2010 was an insane year for games. Seriously. Red Dead, Heavy Rain. If you look up 2010, you're going to see like 20 amazing games. That was one of the crazy years for gaming. Seriously. Okay. Anyway, so I'm excited for that this Sunday night. Monday, it'll be more Baldur's Gate 3. No. Monday, we're going to do Tekken 8 as the daytime stream. Excuse me. So I'm actually going to do a major stream of Tekken 8, and likely it'll be more Yoshimitsu, and maybe we'll go back to June, who I now haven't used in like 2 weeks. So we'll probably go back to her and try to get better with her, so I'll probably study up a bit Sunday night. Monday night will be Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I'm playing it myself. Going to leave Dondoko Island, go back to Hawaii, and basically reap the rewards. The entire stream on Monday night is going to be spending the money that I made on Dondoko Island. So I'm going to be decked out. I'm going to have equipment, weapons, unlocking jobs, doing quizzes that I couldn't afford before, maxing everything out that I can with all the rewards. It's going to be a crazy night of like celebration of spending all that stuff. Okay, then on Tuesday, it's Baldur's Gate 3, and then on that night stream, it's going to be the next co-op stream between me and Kat. So there's 2 Dondoko Island co-op streams this week, Saturday night and Tuesday night, okay? And then Wednesday, probably more Baldur's Gate 3 and more Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, playing it solo, again, reaping the rewards, and that's the week, okay? Sound good? I hope so. Awesome. I mean, that's an exciting week. Double co-op, the return of Retro Reacts, right? Major progress heading into Act 3 of Baldur's Gate 3 and playing it multiple times in Act 3, plus you know, some fun Tekken 8 variety in there. And there's a lot of good stuff going on. So I'm excited for this. Seriously, I'm really, really excited for this week. I hope you guys are too. Okay, more shout outs. And by the way, once again, yes. Okay, I just want to confirm. There's no YouTube contributions because I want to make sure I'm not missing them. I received a $5 tip. Please copy Kirk, R.I.P. Naval NY. I have no idea what that message means. If it's some secret coded message, I apologize, guys, if it's something offensive. I have no idea what that means. It's a $5 tip, but I have no idea what any of that means. Thanks for the $5 tip, coded message. Who knows what the hell that's supposed to be? All I will recommend is the next time that you're going to contribute, try English, because that's my major spoken language that I understand. Thank you. Okay. I received a $25 tip from 1 Minute Man, and he says, I feel like you should reload the current combat that you're in. Instead of ungrouping, looking for entry points, placing your companions in advantageous positions, you walked into the front door where the enemy's waiting, clumped together, vulnerable to immediate attack. It looks messy. It'd be interesting if you had made at least a plan. Yeah, but I didn't know what was going on. Again, I'm playing this game, honestly, for the first time, like every other game. I had no idea the enemy were clumped in the front hallway. If you remember, when we first were walking up the stairs, all the NPCs charged. And I didn't even know what was going on. I was like, what's happening? And then the chat was like, yeah, what's happening is they're attacking without you. So if you don't go up there, they're all going to die. I was like, oh, really? Shit, I didn't know that was going on. So I charged in and tried to save them. That wasn't intentional. Again, once again, this is a case of the game doing something that doesn't seem to make sense. Why would your allies just charge in before anyone has a plan or is ready? They programmed the game like that. So, again, what it seems like they want you to do is fuck it up at first, do horrible, and then say, well, that went poorly, reload it, right? Well, we're going to see what happens. Let's see what happens if the battle goes poorly. Like right now, Karlak got knocked out. We revived her. She's probably going to get knocked out again. If the combat really goes poorly, all right, then maybe I will reload. But I'd prefer not to. I'd prefer to just have this be legit. Like I said, live with it. The only time I'm reloading the game is if the game really screws me up in some way that's not fair. I don't think this is necessarily unfair. I just think that, again, a lot of things in the game are meant like this. Like, do it wrong the first time, get screwed over, reload, and do it right the second time. But I don't want to really keep doing that, you know. Let's see what happens. If I win the fight, I'm going to stick with it, okay? Let's see what happens with it, though. Thank you for the tip. Biggest tip of the day, obviously, so far. I appreciate that. 1 Minute Man. All right, guess what? Somehow, I got through all my topics. I got through the news, the Phil's Day Off, the Skull and Bones, the schedule. We got through everything. All right? Thank you for that. All I will say is this. Thank you all. Please support the streams. This is a brand new week. You know, starting fresh. We got exciting stuff coming up this week. Double co-op with my wife. Act 3 of Baldur's Gate 3. Some new fresh Tekken. Reaping the rewards of Dondoko Island when I do play Like a Dragon. Like, this is an exciting week of content. I hope that you will support it. In some way. Again, much like Rocky, if people could follow suit, if you received one of those gifted memberships that basically I got robbed of, I didn't get paid for that, all right? I would appreciate if you could support in another way, even as simple as just like a super chat or something. Anything would help right now, because right now I'm way down, and it doesn't look like it's bouncing back at this point. I don't think it will until we get another big release. Like, if a giant release comes out and everyone's excited to see me play it, people will probably come out to support streams more, but for now, it's kind of like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. What can I do? Right? So, if you can support the streams, please do. You know the ways to. They all help. Thank you in advance. Okay. So, with all this stuff going on, please, let's chat a bit. Tag me in the chat. Let's see what you guys want to talk about this morning. All right, what's on your mind? No, I did not set up a new suggestion box as of yet. That has not been set up. I feel like we can do that maybe this week if you guys would like that. We could do that. Let's not do it this morning. We already went through so much. It's already almost 12:20, so only a few more minutes left for the show. But if you remind me, absolutely, on one of the slower podcasts, which undoubtedly will have some slow ones this week, I would be more than happy to set up the suggestion box for you guys. The new one. Okay. Is my current chair the best chair I've had in my life? If not, what model was? I haven't had a lot of great chairs. Like, I remember originally back in the day, so we're talking like early 2000s, I bought a memory foam fabric chair from like Staples back then. There's a office store, and it was super comfy. But the problem was it kind of faded over time and started to like become dilapidated. And it had those arms that were made of like not real leather. It's like that plastic stuff, but there was gel in them, like gel arms that were comfy. But that too, it wore out and cracked and broke and fell apart over time. So that was nice for like 2, 3, 4 years, and then it broke and fell apart. I've had like a leather-ish office chair before that was really comfy too, but it wasn't real leather. Again, it was like the kind of cheaper pleather stuff, and that one was all right. When I worked at an office job, the standard chairs they have were okay, but then because I had a back injury, and I reported the back injury to them, it was recorded, they ordered me a nicer chair that was supposed to be like the big ergonomic chair with an adjustable ergonomic lower back support and actually more support on your butt. So you're not sitting on like a hard chair. It's more like gel comfiness there. That was a really, really nice chair. I assume it cost a ton of money because that's a high level ergonomic office chair for someone who sits all day and basically has issues with the health. And I would guarantee you that chair probably cost them like between $500 to $1,000. And that was amazing, but I only had it when I was at work. As for since I've been a YouTuber, by far this is the best chair I've ever had. If you remember, I used to sit on a couch. I used to sit on my brown couch in the condo in Connecticut, and that had no support. It was comfy on your butt, but it had no back support. Because what are you going to do, lean all the way back to play a game like this? Of course not. You're leaning forward when you play a game. So I never had any big back or lumbar support on that thing. Then, when I moved out here, if you remember, I first had a love seat. And the love seat was comfy at first, but within having it like 6 months, the cushions wore out. So every time I sat on that thing, I sunk into it badly. And it just, again, had no support whatsoever. I ended up buying cushions and things to sit on when I played on it, and it just was never very comfortable. This chair, no exaggeration, is the most comfy and most supportive chair I've ever had. Right now, I have tons of lumbar support in my lower back, which is excellent. When you're playing all day, you need to have that support, ergonomic support, and I have it every day when I'm playing. There's also a nice cushion behind me. Did you ever see it? So this cushion here is actually a firm cushion. It's not crappy and airy. It's actually very firm, and this is a block of memory foam behind your back. And because when you lean back in this chair, the first thing you get is good lumbar support, like really solid lumbar support. And then as you further lean back, your shoulders touch the upper cushion, and you are perfectly ergonomic. I'm perfectly upright right now, sitting in the right position of how you should be in an office chair. It's comfy. And this has a footrest. I almost never use it, but a footrest comes out and you can stretch your legs too. So it's a super good chair. Yes, this is definitely the best chair I've ever had. In comparison to other ones that I've owned. The office chair, arguably, that I had at the helicopter job could have been the best one, but I never owned that one. That was just for when I was out at the office. Apollo did a super chat this morning, and that is the first YouTube side contribution. Thank you, Apollo. Let's get that up on the leaderboard. Okay. Cool. Have I ever used or considered a standing desk? My dad has. My dad has back issues like I have. His were actually worse at one point. And he got a standing desk at his job. For many years he was using it. I don't know if he still uses it to this day. He's described to me how good it can be if you have back issues. But I would not want to be standing all day playing video games. Right? Even myself, like right now if I'm standing here, I'm actually too tall. I'm too tall to my TV. I'm above it, standing. So if I were to be standing all day, like I would have to completely redesign. This desk, this laptop desk, is a standing desk. I'm not kidding. When I bought it, this has a height adjuster. If I just push it, this desk goes hydraulically up. So technically, my laptop and all this stuff could be a standing desk for me. But nothing else is. So like this is a folding table, so that wouldn't work. Obviously, I could probably make my tripod much taller, but then I'd also have to get a standing arrangement because when you stand all day, you're supposed to be on like that foam stuff or that gel stuff. You're not supposed to just stand on the floor. So I'd have to get like mats and stuff for in here, and I'd have to find a way to elevate my TV to be eye level, because right now I'd be staring down at the TV. So I never really thought about it. No, usually I'm just, it's good here in the situation that I have, as long as I take a break, as long as I take breaks to stretch, and I'm not just sitting here 3-4 hours straight. This is perfectly fine. So the I showed speed segment. I know nothing about that guy except like you guys told me that he accidentally pulled his pants down on camera and flopped about, if you know what I mean. That's all I know about him. Poor guy. Yeah, I'm the one who gets made fun of, right? For my accident. Yet that guy was way worse. You got fucking Boogie purposefully exposing himself on streams on Twitch and shit. Like purposefully showed himself. I don't know, he's trying to make a point or whatever. Yet somehow people still bring up my incidents. Like, dude, mine has been far surpassed in the last many years. People who've done way worse than what I did. Do I believe in karma? I don't know, Red. That's an interesting question, because you know what they say, what goes around comes around. So you would think that, like, someone in life who's horrible to others, that eventually things would come back to bite them. But that's not always the case. There's been people who are absolutely horrible people on this planet, and then they just get away with it for their whole lives. And, I hate to say it, there's people like that. They look at situations like that. Here's a guy who was a scumbag to everyone their whole life. He's ahead in life. He's filthy rich, right? Basically immune to any kind of repercussions his whole life. So then how could you argue that there's like a god or an entity out there that cares about humanity if this is the case? And this is a whole philosophical discussion that people have, right? I would like to think that yes, hopefully in life at some point there is karma. That people who are doing awful things to others are going to be eventually have it come back to them, and people who are actually doing good things or suffering as a result of the bad actions of others have good things come to them. I would hope that's the case in life. I just don't know if there's really any concrete evidence to being able to prove something like that. It sounds more like superstition to me, right? Okay. A couple more tips came in. I received a $5 tip from Kirk Reborn. I sit on an authentic The Next Generation captain's chair. It's great. I give commands out without back pain. Make it so and get one today. There you go. I guess they really knew what they were doing back in the 90s when they predicted what the future would be. They already had the perfect ergonomic chair on the Enterprise, right? There you go. Well, thank you, Kirk, for that. I also received a $10 tip. Let's hit tier 1 before I head out to work. Have a good day, Phil. I don't know who that's from. There's no name associated with it. But thank you. That's a $10 tip. And indeed, with that tip, we did hit our tier 1 tips goal for the day. So thank you, whoever that was. And that means it is Gunnar Glass's time. And now we're working towards our hat goal for today's first stream. Thank you, thank you. Oh, of course, now we have multiple people in chat trying to claim credit for it. Of course, it was all of you, I'm sure. All right. Anything else, guys? Still a little early. If you tag me in the chat, we can do a little bit more Q&A. I'm shocked I got through all my topics as quick as I did, but hey, I covered them. So... Do I ever wear a vest outside of the stream? No. The only time I ever wore a vest outside of streaming was the original beige vest was a vest I legit owned. And I wore a few times when I lived in Connecticut during the colder months. But no, I never wear those vests outside of this office. They're specifically just for streaming. Well, I let Kat play Baldur's Gate. Kat does not want to play Baldur's Gate. She does not like the game. She doesn't watch my streams of it. She finds it incredibly boring. She basically said... Cutscenes are too drawn out. Everything based on a dice roll she hates, and the combat is way too drawn out and boring, and she hates it. So there you go. What game is my favorite water effects? I don't know off the top of my head. I would have to try to reminisce, and I don't have time to research that right now. How do I manage a busy schedule? A lot of organization. and a lot of patience. But it's tough bouncing around doing all the stuff that I do in my life. Really, like, it's not easy. I'm maintaining a full work schedule with added things. Like, just think this year, all the new things, right? So not only am I doing all the same work I used to do, better thumbnails, better titling, I'm maintaining a new channel in DSP Throwback with all these upscaled videos, all edited and uploaded, and I'm constantly watching them, titling them, ordering them, stuff like that. Got new streams on that channel, still maintaining the React channel. Now I've got new co-op streams with my wife that I'm setting up and working on, right? So all this stuff going on at once is pretty insane. The amount that I'm juggling. So in retrospect, 100% I'm happy that I'm not doing the documentary. I don't think it would have been good. I actually feel like it would have been more me just going through motions to get it done because I was so exhausted than actually caring too much about it, in which case it would have sucked. And it would have been more like, whatever Mike Klum wanted me to do, I probably would have said, yeah, just to get it done. And you know what I mean? As opposed to, if I wasn't such a busy individual and I actually had freedom and time to think and work, it would have been more of a project that we're both doing, and it would have been better. But I don't think that's what it would have turned out of right now. Like, I feel like I'm too pulled in too many directions as it is right now just to maintain where I am. Can you imagine now if I was doing even more time towards a documentary? I don't think it would have worked. I think it would have failed. So I'm glad that I didn't do it. Carl, thank you for a super chat. He says, have a good weekend, mate. Thank you to Carl for the super chat. I appreciate that. By the way, can you guys thumb up super chats? Because there was ability to thumb up a super chat the other day, and now I think it's gone. Right? Wasn't it there? Wasn't it in the chat? You could thumbs up a super chat when someone did it. Now I don't see it anymore. So I think they added it and immediately removed it. This is YouTube, man. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They add something, they remove it. They change it, they do it. They don't say a word. Oh my goodness. I received another $5 tip from Pencil Dick. Baldur's Gate 3 needs to be updated. I did check and it says it's updated. My PS3 was plugged in over my day off and it's set to auto update, so I'm pretty sure it did. How do I submit videos for your React show? Well, first of all, you have to be a submissions level member for the show. You have to join the channel as a submissions level member. That's not the base level, that's one step up. If you've done that, you should have access to a thread on the community tab or the members tab. There's actually a members tab on the main channel page. And there should be a thread there that says, hey, submissions members, please submit your clips here. And it has all the rules and criteria. But you must submit your clip by the end of Saturday night. By the end of my live stream Saturday night, that's when I make the playlist for the next day. So you must either submit it today or tomorrow. Thank you in advance. And again, you must be a member over on... Hold on. You must be a member over on DSP React. Not here. It doesn't tie in here. That's the DSP Reacts channel. It's a whole separate thing. Okay? Will I play a Monster Hunter game before 2025 when the new one comes out? I have no idea. I told you guys I would give Monster Hunter a try. We first did it on the 3DS ages ago. People found it boring, so I quit it. Then when Monster Hunter World was announced, there was an alpha or beta or demo that came out. I played that for one stream. People were incredibly bored and yelled at me never to play it again, so I never did. And that's it. That's where we left it. So I was never against playing Monster Hunter. You guys didn't like it, so I never went back to it. That's the true story. How do I tune out white noise outside of my streams? I mute and report a lot of YouTube suggestions that shine you in a negative light. I watch none of it. I don't watch any of it. I don't watch any content that has anything to do with me at all. All I do is broadcast all day. And when I'm done in this office, that's it. That's where it ends. I don't continue with this stuff when I'm out of the office. I'm a whole other life outside of this office with my family. I don't see any of those video suggestions. I don't watch them. So the thing is with the YouTube algorithm, the moment you click on one of the negative things, it never goes away. You're now stuck in that algorithm of toxic, and you just will see it forever, you know? But if you never click on it, you never see it. And even sometimes when it gets into the feed, immediately I click, don't show again, don't recommend again, and it's gone for good. And then I'm just, you know, I'm back into the swing of things. So there you go. Hold on. Ugh, my blinds. My blinds keep moving and having the sun come in here, and it's very annoying. Shout out to Steven for a membership. Says, how much money to spend a night in a cemetery? Huh? How much money to spend a night in a cemetery? Well, first of all, that's not even legal. Like, cemeteries are private property. You're not allowed to stay in a cemetery overnight. You would have to get explicit permission from whoever actually owns or controls it. And likely no one's going to want someone to be in a cemetery overnight. Maybe there's exceptions for, like, filming for a movie if they would allow it, if they got express permission. But that's not allowed. So I don't know what you're talking about. Zero. I couldn't do it even if I wanted to because you're not allowed. Number two, why would I want to be in a cemetery overnight? What are you talking about? Where do people get these things? Right? Like, what are you speaking? Wait. Huh? Rocky asked, did I ever play Phantom Dust on the OG Xbox? It was a great early multiplayer game. No, never heard of it. Phantom Dust, nope. That era of basically PS2, Xbox One, GameCube. When I say Xbox One, I mean the original Xbox. So I should say that. PS2, original Xbox, GameCube. I was a hardcore fighting game player. All I cared about was playing competitive Street Fighter. I played every single weekend, all weekend. I traveled to play. I went to people's homes. I traveled the country. That was it. I missed an entire generation of console games. And then when I became a YouTuber, I retired from competitive play in Street Fighter, and I basically re-immersed myself in games around the 360 PS3 era. And people would suggest, hey, you missed out this great game. You missed out this great game from that era. And then I would play them, and they'd be awesome playthroughs. So I missed out on that entire generation. There's likely still 50 to 100 notable games from that era that I've never touched and played because I didn't play games then. Yeah. Can we get IRL streams in the gated community? No. Number one, it's not allowed. The gated community is considered private property. In order to actually film out there, I would have to get explicit permission from the condo association to film and from anyone else's property who were filming. Right now, if you were to walk down my street with a camera, it's illegal. It's private property. You can't do it. You have to get permission first. It's not a public road. I don't live on a public road. So you can't do that in a private gated community. You'll get in trouble. And if anyone sees you do it, the cops show up and will throw you off the property, trespass you. And if you continue to do it, they will arrest you. So. Let's see here. There are public and private cemeteries, so if you want it to be weird, you could stay in a public cemetery. We're really going to go there, huh? What are we talking about? Whose idea was it to put me in a cemetery? What? Have you never watched a horror movie before? Anyway. Phantom Dust was a rare Japanese OG Xbox game. It played like an RPG fighter on live. It was discounted for $40. Oh. Do I want to be buried or cremated? I don't really care. I'll be dead. Doesn't really matter when you're dead. It's not going to really affect you that much. If at all. Would I put any silly quotes on my tombstone? I would say, yeah, squeeze the banana, tasty banana, put it in your... Yeah, of course. That's what I'm going to put on there, right? Or, I'm dead. Whoops, nothing I can do. There you go. Isn't that what you want? Isn't that what you want to hear? The stupid thing? But, no. I don't know what I would put on my tombstone. Who knows, right? There you go. I spawned, I died. That's a good one. I spawned, I died. That's the end. That's all it says. That's great. I don't know the entire banana song. I don't know it. I would have to actually watch it back, and then I could probably emulate it. But I don't know the banana song. It's something I did once on the fly on a stream, and I don't remember it. The fact that you got... You know what this also reminds me of? The banana condom joke I made ages ago. Do you remember that? It was like the end of one of my reviews of one of the Donkey Kong games. and it came with a banana sleeve. Don't ask me what you're ever supposed to put in it. But at the end of the review, I put it down, I start thrusting, and I go, oh, banana condom time. And it became a meme that people reference for years. So apparently there's something with bananas. There's something with bananas that people love the references, and they don't ever let go. I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. It literally was the size of a banana, and it was a cloth pouch that came as a pre-order bonus with one of the Donkey Kong Country games on like Wii or Wii U or something. What the hell were you supposed to use that for? Maybe you put your Wii controller in there or something, your Wiimote? But why would you want to put it inside a banana pouch? It doesn't even make sense. It never made sense. It was so confusing. I don't remember which DK review it was for. I don't remember. It was one of them. I did put it on my Christmas tree. That's right. I basically, back then, all the little weird pre-order things you would get for games, I would put on my Christmas tree. So I had a little Alex Mercer from not, it wasn't Infamous. What was the other one? Prototype. He was on there. I had the freaking banana pouch. I had the Ryu headband that came with Street Fighter 4 for pre-ordering it. I put that on the tree. I put all that shit on the Christmas tree back then. Oh, and by the way, I'm almost positive that's some of the lost videos that I have on these hard drives that have been lost to time. Hold on. Yeah. Yes. Basically, everything that was year-end 2010 was lost to time and deleted off YouTube, but I have it all. So I think I have, like, the tree setup video and stuff like that. Like, we could eventually have that as beat content on DSP Throwback. But right now, we're so in the midst of the Final Fantasy 13 and Red Dead playthroughs. We're doing those for at least another month to month and a half until they start to wrap up. So that's what I mean. It's going to take a long time to get through all these games. But we will eventually. You know what I want to do this year, later this year? I want to do Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare expansion on DSP Throwback for October. How cool would that be? That for the month of October, we re-release that lost playthrough. It's a co-op playthrough, by the way. I do it with John Rambo. That's a really cool playthrough that I think I could re-release over there, and people would really like it. So I think that's what I'll do later this year. We still have LA Noire. We still have a lot of stuff that was like on Blip TV that's missing from the internet that we could re-upload. There's missing playthroughs, like there's Dante's Inferno, there's Kung Fu Panda that aren't done, but there's still parts there I could release. I think there's New York Comic Con 2010, which also I think all those vlogs were deleted at one point. There's a lot of stuff, like just on 3 particular hard drives, there's a lot of missing content that was never on the internet before. And then also keep in mind, people are probably going to want to see my retro playthroughs from Darkside Phil re-edited in the modern style with the better frame rates, the better resolution, the better audio. And I'm sure people will be vying for those. So this year, once we finish Final Fantasy 13 and Red Dead 1, there is unlimited potential to get stuff on that channel that people want to see. We just got to get to the points where those games are done. So there you go. Yes, I remember the Bigfoot scenes of Undead Nightmare. I don't want to spoil them, but I totally remember it. Miyamoto tipped me $5 and says, try to keep Jaheira alive in today's combat. It could be important for the future of the game. No spoilers, but, you know, you want to try to keep her alive for later. Okay. I mean, duh. Like, I want to keep everyone alive, right? So I'll do my best. The one question I have, because I don't understand this, so my own party members, if they die, I can revive them. But what about NPCs like her? Like, she's not necessarily a party member yet. She's a guest party member. If she dies, can we revive her and then she's fine? Or if she died and she's gone? Like, how does that work? That I don't understand. Okay. That's right. Orange says that makes sense. Maybe you could release Christmas stuff around Christmas. Makes sense, right? So that's what I need to do. I need to look into what's on those hard drives that's not on the internet elsewhere and possibly have it re-edited. You know, I could actually do that. Yes. Really? Dark Gaming says the new update today that's in Baldur's Gate makes it more likely she survives. Seriously? Well, that's interesting. You cannot revive her. I'm being told if she dies, she's gone for good. Wow. That's shitty. So yeah, it should be, I think it's installed. It says there's no updates. I checked, and it says that there's no updates for the game. So I assume that it installed everything today. Last update, 2:16 at 7:27 a.m. Yep, it did update it this morning at 7:27. So we're good in that regard. It has the new update. Version 1.006.001. There you are. Very good. All right. I think it is time to end the podcast and take a brief break for me to use the restroom and then get started with Baldur's Gate 3. I'm excited to see how Act 2 ends. I don't know what's going to happen. And I want to get into Act 3 over the weekend. So thank you all. Great show this morning. Thank you to those who supported. Thanks for those who chilled and talked. And, excuse me. And I was actually looking into this, okay? Spring starts March 21st. Easter is March 31st this year. There's a lot going on this year, all in a very confined area. Like, March seems like a very packed month between Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Dragon's Dogma 2, Rise of the Ronin, and other things going on, plus multiple, like, holidays and things. It's going to be exciting. So I hope you guys are enjoying. And thank you guys for watching. What's wrong? People are reacting in the chat to something they're seeing on their screens right now. I don't understand it. What are you reacting to? I don't get it. Anyway, thank you guys. Great podcast today. See you tomorrow. Peace out.